We'll go ahead and get started with today's agenda meeting. I believe we have a couple directors that are in the building, but will be walking in shortly. We'll review the action items for the regularly scheduled board meeting next for Tuesday, August 15th, right here at City Hall at 6 p.m. And I guess at the time we meet, we'll be halfway through August, essentially. So maybe cooler weather will prevail and less of these hot days. But I'm going to call on our city manager, Mr. Bill Burrow, to review those action items.
Thank you, Mayor. You will have one proclamation that evening, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, presented to Kimberly Walters, CEO of the Savannah Walters Memorial Foundation. She'll be here that night as your guest. Moving into your consent agenda, we have the first three items are considering resolutions R23, 140, 141, and 142. And there are several resolutions appointing members to the Hot Springs Animal Control Advisory Committee, the Hot Springs Civil Service Commission, and the Hot Springs Transportation Advisory Committee. And I'll turn it over to our city clerk, Harmony Morrissey, to talk about that process.
Thank you. Mayor, we will be having a special meeting after this agenda meeting where you all will have an opportunity to interview all of the applicants. There's one applicant for Animal Control Advisory Committee, 3 for the Civil Service Commission, and 1 for the Transportation Advisory Committee.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Morse?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have consider resolution R23, 143, a resolution approving payment to Entergy Arkansas LLC for fees associated with utility easements for the raw and finished water transmission mains as part of the Lake Ouachita Water Supply Project. This is in the amount of $60,547.39, and our city engineer, Gary Carnahan, is here to discuss.
Good afternoon, and it is a nicer day, isn't it? In building the raw water main and the finished water mains, part of our big water project, we have 8 places where we cross Entergy property and have to obtain an easement from them to do that. So they've had to incur costs for surveying and legal descriptions, environmental assessments, outside legal fees, and appraisals in order to confirm our easement descriptions and the legal documents to issue us those easements, and also to determine the price for the easements. So that they have invoiced us now. They're very close to issuing those easements. So they have invoiced us $60,547.39 for these other costs, kind of background costs that were required to get to the point of pricing the easement. So this is not the cost of any individual easement, but the background cost of getting the easements prepared and issued to us. So this request will be for you to approve that payment.
Any questions on this matter? Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Will those invoices be provided to us in the packet?
Yes.
Energy?
There's only one invoice, but all those are bundled into one invoice. But
Okay. Is it pretty descriptive as to how they arrive at $60,547.39?
It's not really. It lists those items that I just went through. It just lists those and how much each one costs and the total.
Okay.
So that's the amount of detail that's in the invoice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Any additional questions of Gary? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next is consider resolution R23, 144, a resolution authorizing the filing and acceptance of Federal Aviation Administration AIP grant application and supplemental information for Runway 523 Rehabilitation Project, AIP number 3050031-036-2023. Our airport director, Don Rowlett, is here to discuss. Don?
Good afternoon, directors, Mr. Mayor. We have several projects going here with this. I'll start with the taxiway project, which is the 144. Under this project, we are going to be applying for and asking for permission to accept a grant under the bipartisan infrastructure law, the bill, and specifically the AIG program. Under those programs, each year for a 5-year period, of which we're in the 2nd year right now, different airports are given different amounts of money under the program set aside based on the classification of the aircraft, of the airport. Fiscal year 23, we have $292,000 that's coming from that program. And that's where we would be getting the money for this first project. Number 144 is a runway 526 rehab. And that's going to be a separate project. And that comes from the AIP, which is a program for the FAA on funding airports. For that one, we have $150,000. So, and our 144 for the runway rehab, that consists of surfacing the runway. They'll be milling out runway 523, 2-inch layer, and then putting down new asphalt on that. So that one comes out. Both these resolutions are $0 to the airport or to the city. They're 95.5 on the percentage. So that one will be, the federal would be $91,200, and the state would make up the difference of $4,800. The taxiway, a little more complicated in the paperwork, but that's actually 2 projects in one grant application. And that's by the request of the FAA, since there's similar projects. The first project is going to be refurbishing or rehabilitating Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie taxiways, where they'll be resurfacing that area. And then the second one that's also in there is the striping of all the taxiways, the painting of all the taxiways. That total project is $155,405. And again, that's a 95.5 on the split between the federal and the state. So the federal's part of it is $147,634. The state is $7,771, and nothing out of the city or the airport.
Mayor, if I could, and members of the board, Don, you kind of went right into the next item. What he's speaking about at this point with that 155,405, that is Resolution R23-145.
That's correct. That's the taxiway project, and that's 2 projects in one.
Any questions on this matter? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have consider Resolution R23-146, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the First Amendment to the tower lease agreement with option between the City of Hot Springs and T-Mobile Central LLC at 213 Hollywood Avenue, Hot Springs, Arkansas, site identification AR01704A. I believe our city attorney is going to cover this item.
Thank you, Bill, Mayor, members of the board. The City of Hot Springs, as Bill mentioned, has had a lease agreement with T-Mobile for antenna locations at the Hollywood water tank since 2008. The terms of that lease agreement were monthly payments of $1,175. It had a 2% per annum escalation clause in it. However, that is expiring October the 15th. T-Mobile wishes to enter into this amendment to that lease agreement, whereby the original terms will remain in effect except for the rent amount that will go up to $2,000 per month, and there will be a 3% per annum hereafter. It will begin October the 15th of 2023, ending October 14, 2028. At the expiration of the renewal term, the lease will automatically be extended for 5 additional successive five-year terms. The proposed lease, the existing lease, and the resolution will be in your packet for your review and consideration.
Very good. Any questions of Brian on this subject? Thank you.
Mayor, currently, all of your items are under consent. We don't have a new business item. However, you do have an executive session that evening, considering the mid-year evaluation of the city manager and city attorney. Other than that, that concludes your agenda.
Okay. As the city manager indicated, we've reviewed all the action items that will be formally addressed next Tuesday evening. We do have a board special call meeting immediately after the agenda meeting for the specific purpose of reviewing applicants for openings to Hot Springs advisory boards and committees. So don't go very far. We'll switch over now. Thank you. We are adjourned.